What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today was quite an interesting day. This is a big reason why I liquidated a lot of my positions going into today. I know 2 days ago on Wednesday, I was looking to liquidate during this week. I felt like there was going to be a pullback coming. I even felt pretty extended going into this week and having some swings. Because of the fact that there was still strength from last week going into this week. And on Wednesday, definitely saw something in the price action that seemed abnormal in the fashion that it seemed like there was just weakness. I typically watch the hourly. I do a lot of my moves on the hourly. Intraday, I do look at daily and stuff for swings. But ultimately understand, I saw something on the hourly that looked extremely weak. There is no news. There's no real news. Yeah, some numbers came out today that kind of pushed the market down a little bit. Ultimately, I think there was news at around that 1 o'clock where that Delta variant, I know, has been kind of circulating in the news, but now there's the White House announced a Delta variant response teams. So I think that's what really kind of jolted the initial shock in the market, but the market bounced back. To be honest, I really don't know what was pushing up today. A lot of stuff was really sideways. I know some banks were actually doing quite well today. Apple in itself held, a lot of big tech held. Facebook and NVIDIA essentially kind of held up the tech side of the house. Tesla stayed range. Amazon started really selling off badly, then kind of picked up towards the end of the day. But a lot of like second tier tech value stocks, they really plummeted today. So it was really the industry leaders that held up the market is what it was looking like today. I could be wrong, but from what I'm seeing, that is essentially what I'm seeing. There's no really direct news. There was some direct news. So the market was just, and it was, the first day of the month. You had some rebalancing going on. You got people getting ready for earnings. And so that being said, tonight, I don't have a watch list for you. Going into Fridays, I really don't have a lot of watch lists because I don't, especially with a long or short week next week, I don't really want to go into next week or swing long over the weekend, the 3-day weekend. So being said, I want to focus kind of on like the market state and kind of see where we're going from this point, because I think that's important. But SPY in itself, we're still cruising all-time highs. We can still possibly go up. My only thing is I don't want to hold bigger positions up at these all-time highs, especially with this Delta variant and the reason that they have that team essentially being assembled to essentially determine how much of an issue this would be. Obviously, the market really didn't care. There are some things, again, that still flew up today. I think Microsoft actually flew up as well. Everything kind of just held flat. So it's just interesting to see the index kind of go. But being said, value BA even. BA was flat. There was a lot of stuff that was just flat. Which, all it really would take is like if everything was flat and you have a couple of runners like your Facebooks and whatnot, it would definitely help. I know Beam, some of the therapeutics, they're all flat. Everything was pretty much flat today. It's kind of interesting to see what actually pushed up today. Even Amazon towards the end of the day, it really had a drop. I was actually thinking it would drop quite a bit from here. But everything is flat. I think right now we've been kind of like hesitant. There hasn't really, we got job data. We have to get some numbers today. I think that showed that there was actual possibly inflation, and that it's not so much transitory. But we did talk about this would be something towards the end of the summer. Maybe we're starting to see that sooner than we thought. A lot of stuff is starting to happen a little bit sooner than we think it would be. Even going into this week, I thought we would have another strong week of bulls. We kind of saw that in the beginning of the week. Then it's kind of tapered off a little bit. You've had some of your smaller runners, but then it's really just been kind of flat for the most part. And some stuff is moved a lot. Some stuff is actually sold off. So it's interesting to see what's going on, but a lot sooner than expected. So I think we're starting to see that timeline kind of shift forward a little bit more. Maybe a possibility, could be very possible. So we're really looking at a catalyst to kind of go either way, right? We know there's a lot of money in the system. We know there's a lot going on. QQQs are looking, right? They're just trading sideways at this point. Do we continue to go up? In my mind, I think we need a pullback fairly badly. I mean, we've done nothing but go up. I don't like, again, buying at these high levels, all-time highs. Yes, I realize there's money and we have kind of like the super cycle thing going on, and stuff is rebalancing too, because people are trying to look to make money towards the end of the year, right? Whatever they didn't make in the beginning of the year because of February or March time period, April period. Now they're trying to make up for that for returns for these institutions. So they're going to go into the more high priced ones. I know Tesla had some news about India today and getting in that space. And then there was some good positive news on that. But as you can see, even Tesla struggled a bit, but it held. It's been holding range well. So if there's anyone to really watch, I think tomorrow, especially with numbers and everything, I think Tesla can really run. I got out of all my positions. Actually, I have shares still in this. That's a longer term swing, but it's a smaller position. But nonetheless, everything else is pretty much cash at this point because I don't really know what exactly is going to happen from this point. But one thing to keep in mind on the VIX, I've been watching, it's been basing here. I actually took some VIX calls on this, so I'm not 100% cash here. Or I do have the Tesla and VIX, but the VIX here, I did take some calls because I do think we're going to open up and sell tomorrow because of the fact we got a short week next week. Jobs numbers, maybe they're surprising, maybe they're not. But the market, tech in itself just needs a pullback. Again, it's run. I mean, it's not. This isn't the Tesla we're used to seeing that jumps a couple $100 like it was last year, the year before. But being said, it's struggling, right? It makes that $100 move, and then it pretty much goes flat, and then we've seen it just kind of die out. I mean, that's essentially been the kind of pattern Tesla's had over the past couple months. So this year, essentially, ever since 900, it's been kind of it's been playing this big wedge, but it's been these couple $100 shots up, and then it comes back down, flattens out a couple $100 or 150, and then it shoots back down. So maybe we're seeing that again because that kind of looks like what we're doing. We're starting to churn over, do one last push down before we start actually breaking out into I think, again, the back half of this year will be extremely strong, in my opinion. So with that being said, I mean, yes, the back half of the year is really what's going to matter here. Right now, Tesla could hold this as long as it doesn't break this 668. If it breaks 668, we're going back down to that 590, 600, 602 range, in my opinion, right? I think even with Tesla's numbers, we're still quite a ways out, beginning of August. So we still got 4 more weeks before Tesla actually has earnings. I wouldn't be surprised if we do pull back some before we do try to rip back up. So just keep that in mind. Again, we're looking for a catalyst. There's no terrific news to make us keep pushing higher. There's no horrible news to push us down. I know China had come out and was starting to threaten the world, essentially, right? I think that's why we had that initial scare, but then everything just kind of some things didn't recover. Some of our stronger industry leaders did recover. But it's interesting to see. Like I said, the VIX is an interesting place here to where it could actually pop, sell tomorrow. I'm really expecting a sell. But the past couple of Fridays, we've been kind of strong, to say the least. So I do expect that just because it's a longer weekend. The dollar in itself is still going strong. Bonds have been kind of flat, which is good to see, right? We don't want too much action in the bonds. Metals in itself, have been really flat. So that's interesting to see as well. I don't expect commodities to really do much, right? If this is all transitory. If it's not transitory, I mean, this gold could start pushing back up. Could be a possibility, but I don't see that as happening. I think, again, if there's any kind of inflation, it would have been because of the fact the demand, the high demand over the summer period, but then eventually die back down, which I think is a strong possibility. And then, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here, right? There's a lot of different things coming into play. We've got the go ahead from Powell that rates aren't being raised. Yet you're going to continue to have the rest of the year if other Fed members say something needs to be done, something needs to be done. I think that is just being pushed out by the press to try to throw you off, because the markets is again looking for catalysts to really move. Maybe it's waiting for earnings, right? Maybe we're looking to see what kind of numbers are really coming out from these companies to really start the move. I think could even possibly get started. I mean, we got Netflix on the 20th, first big tech to really start getting earnings in there. And then from that point, it kind of help guide everything else going forward. But ultimately, again, going into tomorrow, just be really mindful of that. Again, I'm mostly cash, pretty much all cash at this point, because I want to see what the market does. I'm not eager to jump back in, take any large positions because of the fact that essentially what is going on right now, there's nothing really guiding the markets. Again, I didn't like the price action I saw on Wednesday, and then I didn't like what I saw today. Right, everything sold off very quickly, especially if there's another variant. Possibly you're worried about lockdown, right? I don't think we'll ever get to that point. It's not saying it never could happen, but if it does, I think we're really in for a downward spiral, right? I don't think we'll see what we saw last March because we are aware of what's going on, but there will definitely be a big correction at that point. Not as big as last year. In my opinion, I don't think we'll get that big because it's not something that's brand new to us. Last year, everything was brand new, and we weren't used to that. So being said, we'll have to see what happens. So again, just for tomorrow, just definitely just keep industry leaders in your mind. Play what continues. I know Space is one. They had news after hours. SPCE. Space had news after hours about Branson. That's right, Richard Branson. He's trying to actually fly ahead of Bezos. So being said, that gave a big old pop after hours. So that may be something to play tomorrow. If there's any continuation, again, look for continuation. Look for those things that are strong. Facebook is extremely strong, even though everything's sold off. It's still pushed back up. So just keep those things in mind and play those and play industry leaders. I think your mid cap, small cap might be struggling a little bit tomorrow. You might have your individual runners. Definitely have to keep that in mind. You might have some MEB stocks tomorrow. Although those have been kind of all dying out together. It's just been your industry leaders. So keep that in mind. So remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Until next time, I will see you guys later.